Thanks for watching Sweet Tea TV. Please like, share, and subscribe. Houston, Texas, January 28, 2003, R&B singer from the group H-Town's member Dino Connor lost his life in a tragic car accident. And at the time of this incident, Connor was just 28 years old. Houston police reported that his sports utility vehicle struck a car driven by Taisha Ray Weston, and she was just 22 years old, and in which Dino was a passenger in her vehicle. Connor's twin brother and his bandmate, Shazam Connor. He stated that Weston had just picked up Dino Connor from his recording studio. The SUV allegedly ran a red light and struck the vehicle, throwing Connor and Weston from the car. Connor died en route to the hospital, and Weston was dead at the scene. Shazam Connor, and I quote, "We had basically just finished recording our new album and we were getting ready for an H-Town reunion tour. We really haven't had time to think about what will happen now." So those boys in H-Town got their big break in the early 90s, and that's after they signed to the Two Live Crew band leader Luther Campbell's Luke record label. And at that time, it was the only non-rap group like Luke carried at the time. And his first album, Fever for the Flavor, it was anchored by the single Knockin' the Boots. Funeral arrangements for Connor were pending at that time, and he was survived by his only daughter. And the rabbit hole is about to go deeper, guys, so let's come on and go down this hole together. Now, it seems that there is a young man who posted he was a very close friend of Dino and Shazam, and he came out with a documented letter, and he had some things to bring to the surface. And baby, when I tell you this is hot off the post, I don't think nobody who ever made an H-Town video had their hands on this document. So however, let's begin, guys. So this young man started off by saying, you read that right. Dino and Shazam Connor from the R&B group H-Town are not twins. He has confirmed this, that they are not twins, and he's going to tell us why. Well, since finding out about Shazam's true nature and the numerous fabrications that have been told, end quote, I felt it needed to be known, especially since Shazam does everything he can to steal the attention from Dino, even in his death. Also, seems to be absolutely no one speaking in defense of Dino, says this young man. Did I know him personally? Yes, I did. I grew up with them, the both of them. This young man went on to say that I felt it was very important for me to shine the light on the truth finally. So he says as they grew up in the neighborhood that they grew up in Houston, Texas, he grew up believing that Dino and Shazam were actually twins. He says, I thought to myself they must be fraternal twins because it's clear they're not identical. So twins don't absolutely have to be identical. But if you're born at the same time in the same womb, the same date, and you come out, you are considered a twin, okay? But we know twins usually are identical. However, we don't want to get into that. But this is what the young man is stating, and I'll critique what he has to say after I read this document, okay? So he says after he started listening to more of H-Town's music, after they grew up and everybody became older, and they got famous and he was listening to their songs, he became one of their friends online and with other H-Town fans. And he said that he befriended one guy who shocked him by saying, did you know Dino and Shazam aren't really twins? He said he then explained to me how he found it out. So I'm trying to understand this document, but I'm the type of person who needs to see the proof for myself, this young man says. So at the time, I just kept what he said in the back of my mind. I also remember that around this time, Shazam had a Q&A with fans, and since this was before all the bullshit happened, I asked him several questions. This young man went on to say, while I don't remember everything I asked him, I do remember asking him who was the older twin, and him or Dino. And he said that that was the only question I asked him that can get no response. He couldn't get a response. He says he didn't think anything of it at the time. Okay, so first this young man goes on, this is some bullshit, because he stated that he grew up with them and this is a document and he needs to get the truth out. Now he's saying that he spoke to people that were close to him and they were telling him this. Okay, so we're going to continue, guys. We're going to continue because there's always different sides to stories. And like I said, if we pay attention to the details, we can pull out the truth, crack a case, or bring something to light to show a person's actions from what they've done. Okay, we're going to use that too as a line in the Sweet TTV YouTube channel. As you guys know, my channel used to be called HD Videos and I changed my channel's name. However, that is not the topic. Let's keep going. So this young man went on to say, but then after Shazam's online attack against him in 2016, several people reached out to him, and he said this was including people who were very close to him and Dino. He stated that one person in particular who was identified, and he said he won't say the person's name, told him of his relationship with H-Town and provided him with proof. Okay? Now let me know if you guys think this young man is credible, because the way he started this document off, he threw me for a loop. Okay? I'm gonna have to call him and cuss him out and find out who he is and send him an email. Do not give us misleading things to read your document, sir. Anyhow, he expressed that his disappointment over Shazam and his family's actions when they suddenly said, oh, him and Dino and Shazam aren't twins. It's just a gimmick for that time. Oh my God, so they fooled us. This sounds about right, guys. Okay, so let's go on down this rabbit hole. But young man, I'm still gonna need to check you. He says that it was for promotion at that moment. They needed something to bring differently because of other singing groups. They had to be, different. And it was all a gimmick. Then this young man said that he was very upset and hurt because of the betrayal, and it hurt him. And he said in the back of his mind, he knew that this had to be true. Then he went on to say, quote, here's someone who actually reached out to me and told me this information. And he said that he didn't even ask about it. But young man, how would you, well, he said in the beginning he thought they were fraternal twins, but he stated he didn't even ask. Let me stop requoting him on what he's saying. I just want to give you guys what's here. He said, then I started noticing things that made it all add up. Now this young man is becoming credible to me, because he said he actually started doing his own research after he was told that. Then he stated he came across several of Shazam's mugshots on the official county website in Texas. And he said there he found, there in black and white, was Shazam's actual birthday. I'm telling y'all, this rabbit hole is about to go deep. So get this, guys. This guy says that Shazam's birthday is December 17th, 1973. 1 + 1 = 2, and 2 + 2 = 4. So he went on to say when someone gets arrested, they have to give their ID to the officer, unless he had a fake ID with him on multiple occasions, which is a crime itself. And then that date is correct, and it's listed on his state ID. So then what that date is correct and is what is listed on his state ID. Then people in the H-Town group that was on Facebook started doing their own research and coming across information, says this young man. Someone sent me what looked like a Texas state birth record document, which clearly showed Dino and Shazam's birth dates. And it says here, guys, and I do have it. I'm going to try to pull it up and add it to this commentary. It says that Dino Connor, he was born Dino Connor, and his birthday is November 18th, 1974. And Shazam Connor's birth date and his born name was Solomon Connor. and he was born December 17th, 1973. He also stated with his receipt, he posted a receipt to his document that he posted. And he said, this is a state document which I was able to later verify. Now, as I glazed down the article, it does have the Texas Department of Health and Bureaus of Vital Statistics, which is a birth certificate. And at the top, a lot of things are marked off, which they didn't show on the birth certificate. And I can't really see, but he has the names there, and it says Dino Connor, November 18th. It says what he says it, but I'm wondering why he scratched everything off. Because if I have a receipt, I'm going to post that whole receipt, sir. So to my further digging, Charles and Carolyn, those are the names of the parents. And I actually went to look this up, guys, in the Wikipedia. And those are the parents of these two gentlemen that were in the H-Town group, Dino and Shazam. And it says it on the birth certificate, but I'm wondering why this young man scratched off his receipts. If you're going to bring receipts, bring receipts. It has the mother's name on both birth certificates, which I'm starting to believe that this is actually true what this young man posted. Now, it looks really blurry and scratched off, but I can clearly see their name and the mother's name on each birth certificate. And the birthdays are actually listed as he said, November 18th and December 17th. The November is for 1974 and December 17th, 1973, which makes Shazam the oldest, just by 1 year. So this young man goes on to say, after he posted his receipts, it can clearly be seen that Dino and Shazam aren't really twins. But for some strange reason, the people around Shazam continue to play along with his delusion that Dino's his twin brother. This young man went on to state his opinion that it's very disturbing that they continue to celebrate Dino and Shazam's birthday every year with a big party on November 18th. And while we may laugh at Shazam's shenanigans, this is actually speaking to Shazam's mental state, says this young man, which is clearly not a good place for him to be in at that point. And he's speaking of this now. This was recently posted, guys. Oh my goodness. And so he said to be almost 50 years old and still walking around in a fantasy about being your younger brother's twin is sad. But for his followers, they continue to buy that lie, in which he stated he posted the above information plus the mugshots information on Shazam's in a video about the topic, and not surprisingly, his followers attacked me online because of it. So they still think that the evidence I show is a lie. And I saw the evidence, and I can say that this young man did post something that was actual, but I don't know why it was black markered off. If you're going to show a receipt, like I stated before, show the whole goddamn receipt. Why are you scratching it off? But I saw the mother's name, and it is the same name that is in Wikipedia, okay? And so I like this quote that this young man stated here. He says, I've just come to realize over the years that there are some people who will choose to continue to believe a lie, even when the truth's staring them right in the face. Hey, my viewers, not my subscribers. Hey, my viewers who want to believe a lie instead of believe the truth about mystical. Anyway, there's a choice, and it's stupid, but still their choice to believe a lie over the truth. And so it is everybody's choice to be ignorant, and in disbelief, and you don't want to believe the truth. You can't handle the truth. Okay, so this is the truth about Dino and Shazam. Okay, I knew it was more to this. Okay, and so this young man went on to close out, and he said, back to the people coddling Shazam and his delusions, what's their issue? Again, why are they afraid to check on him and his bullshit, or put him in his place, maybe even help him to get the professional help he clearly needs? He also make it a point to try harder to prove himself and to his delusions. He's an obsessive fan base that him and Dino are twins. So he's delusional. This is what this guy is saying. So guys, maybe this man did not want to post their personal information, because what's on your birth certificate is clearly a personal document. He just scratched off what he didn't, like they'll do on a police report or a court record. They'll seal certain things that you can't see. Okay, So he did bring the receipt. It does match up to what his story said, and it is the mother's name, her first and last name on each vital record, which is the birth certificate. So, okay. He brought his receipts and he was straight up showing receipts. And he also showed Shazam's arrest record. And I will not post that on YouTube because that is personal information. Okay? And it doesn't belong to either of us, me or my viewers or subscribers. And I love the quote that this young man closed out with. And I want to give this advice to some viewers who are being disrespectful on my channel. He says that I've come to realize that over the years that there are some people who will choose to continue to believe a lie with the truth staring them right in the face. And he went on to say that's their choice. It's stupid, but still their choice. It's your choice, guys, not to believe about mystical, allegedly. And then this young man closed out and said, and back to the people coddling Shazam, him and his delusions. And he says, what's your issues, guys? And he said again, why are they afraid to check on him and his bullshit or put him in his place? Maybe even help him get the professional help that he clearly needs. And then he also went on to state that he also makes it a point to try too hard to prove himself and to his delusion/obsession fan base that him and Dino were twins. Now I'm going to have to cut this video short, guys, because I don't want to make it too long, because I'm going to come back with a part 2. We're going to dig deep into, we know how he died. They said that it was a car accident and they were ejected from the car, and it was his girlfriend. That lady was his girlfriend, and they just left the studio. They were supposed to reunite and restart the group back up. However, there are a lot of conspiracies out there saying that Dino was sacrificed. Allegedly. We're going to have to come back with a part 2, guys, so I'm going to keep digging. And I ask that you please like the video, subscribe to my YouTube channel, hit that notification bell so when I make a new content, you guys will be aware.